So it's another video. I didn't even realize that more than a week had gone by since the last video. And ended up I took a little vacation, but we're back once again. And in the last video that I uploaded, I did notice that the audio was punchy, kind of too much. So I'll be putting a little more focus on making adjustments in the editing of this video to help with that. These are learning experiences, and we do hope to do better. So without further ado, let's jump into it. This time around, I'm going over 2 points, not going too much in the first one. It's more of a funny story, but you'll get the point. And then we got a good one for the second, so let's do this. So you've probably seen it, but if you haven't, do a search for it. Scroll TikTok long enough, you might come across it. But this video that's been going around of a journalist who thinks that he has Representative Scott Perry, but he's actually got Tim Burchett. Two very different people, two different sides of the aisle. Okay? Just trying to get a gotcha moment, but we'll get more on that here in a minute. So the journalist walks up to Burchett with a cell phone recording, calls him Perry, and proceeds to ask him if he trusts Trump's national security team to keep the war plans top secret. The response from Burchett is just amazing, in my opinion. He says to the journalist, "Do you trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?" And the journalist stops walking. He's just standing there stunned. It was very, very funny. Now, remember, the journalist thought he had Perry, and Perry probably would have given him the answer he was looking for. So they can say another representative not trusting Trump and have that little moment there again. But this is in response to the signal gate that I covered in my last video. The so-called journalist, like I said, was looking for a gotcha moment and just got slammed on. And look, I expect the Democrats, reporters, journalists, whatever, the left side of those, CNN, MSNBC, and everything underneath, I expect them to twist the story. I expect them not to tell you everything. And I expect them to try these cheap gotcha moments. But you just don't expect them to fall flat on their face in real time like that. Sure, sometimes a few days later, when they have to issue corrections to a story or update a story which proves they got it wrong in the first place. Yeah, I've seen that plenty of times. But that response was instant, and I did enjoy seeing it. Let's talk about the Tesla dealerships and privately owned cars being firebombed, torched, and vandalized. As many of you know, Tesla vehicles and dealerships are being damaged and destroyed by those on the left to send a message to Elon Musk. And at the same time, they're upset that they are being called terrorists for doing it, comparing it to what Republicans and those on the right did with Bud Light beer for having Dylan Mulvaney, if I said that wrong, I'm sorry, who is a transgender woman, to do an Instagram video. They're outraged at the video. And they are outraged at being called a terrorist. I mean, really, you can't make this stuff up. They really are destroying their own party with these kind of actions and comparisons, which are not one and the same. And we can look at the actions of those on the right with Bud Light. They destroyed beer they bought with their own money. The rest of them just didn't buy beer at all. They didn't destroy someone else's beer. They didn't destroy the beer factory. or attack it or vandalize it. So, were they committing a terrorist act? Maybe we need to teach them the definition of terrorism. Now, I had to take an anti terrorist class in the profession I spent many years in. And Google backs it up if you want to look it up and read where property is included. But it is the use of violence to instill fear and achieve political, ideological goals, often targeting civilians and non combatants. Google goes on to give more detailed explanations, but when you scroll down far enough to examples of terrorist acts, it does include destruction of property or infrastructure. So the Democrat far left are comparing destroying one's own beer and not buying beer to destroying dealerships and vandalizing, bombing other people's vehicles. And they're saying this isn't terrorism, but they're doing it to send a political message to Elon Musk, which makes it the very definition of terrorism. And another L they take on the fact that Elon Musk only owns 12% or 12 point something percent of Tesla, while Democrats owns the rest of it. Democrats trying to compare it to Bush beer is just another example of how Democrats will try to justify anything and everything they're doing, and that is so wrong. Their message on protecting the environment also takes that L, because I'm pretty sure the chemicals and bombs and the chemicals in the battery of Tesla, all that affects the environment when they're being burned. But they don't care because it's just not about the environment for them. It's about control. Sure, there are those in the party who do care about the environment, but for most of them, as well as the upper echelon of them at the end of the day, it's just all about control. That's the sad reality we live in, really. But that does conclude the video. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Look, there's links in the description below to TikTok, Facebook, there's an email, and Twitter, all in the link below. It's pretty bad I had to think about that. But anyway, they're also on my profile page. Check it out. And leave a comment here. Let me know what you want me to talk about. If you have a question on any kind of matters, or, just put it in there. Whatever it may be, comment, contact me, however you want to do it. If you don't want me to mention your name, contact me privately and make sure to say I don't want to be mentioned for this. And I'll just say a viewer. Okay? Love to hear from you. But let's get the message out there. Share this video, give it a like, help this channel grow. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.